welcome to the synthesis of luminol lab for the 2130 course. So like I said, this is the synthesis of luminol, and this is the reaction scheme that we're going to be, that it proceeds through. As you may or may not know, luminol is a compound here that's used in the forensic science detection lot. It reacts with the hemoglobin in blood and creates a blue glow. This blue glow is done by chemiluminescence when luminol is mixed with an appropriate oxidizing agent. In order to set up the reaction, we have to have sand in a heating well, as you can see here, and you need to have a thermometer placed into a large test tube, and the large test tube will contain half a gram of 3-nitrophthalic acid, as well as 2 milliliters of propylene glycol and half a milliliter of 20% hydrazine solution. Once you have that, you want to heat up the solution to about 150 degrees Celsius and let it heat for about 15 minutes. Okay, so once you have the reaction heating up at 150 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes, then you're going to remove the test tube from the sand and let it cool down to 100 degrees Celsius. Once it's cooled down to 100 degrees Celsius, you're going to add 3 milliliters of hot distilled water to the solution. And then once you've added the 3 milliliters of hot distilled water to the solution, you're going to put the test tube in an ice bath. And you're going to let it cool down in an ice bath for 5 to 10 minutes and scratching with a glass rod to induce crystallization if necessary. Okay, so once you have the solution cooled for 5 to 10 minutes in an ice bath, then you're going to collect the crystals by vacuum filtration. And you're going to rinse it. Rinse it all with 2 to 3 milliliters of ice cold distilled water. You're going to break the vacuum first. So before you rinse it with cold water, you're going to break the vacuum, and then rinse it with the cold water. And then you're going to collect it via vacuum filtration yet again. Once you have collected the crystals from the vacuum filtration, you're going to put those crystals back in the test tube that you ran the reaction in. Once you've done that, you're going to add 3 milliliters of a 5% sodium hydroxide solution. You can, if you notice, the color change there. So you're going to add 3 milliliters of the sodium hydroxide, the 5% sodium hydroxide solution, and note the color change. And then after you do that, you're going to add 1 gram of sodium hydrosulfite to the reaction. Once you've added the sodium hydrosulfite to the reaction, you're going to put it back in the sand bath and heat the reaction mixture for 3 more minutes. Okay, so after the reaction has then heated up for 3 more minutes, you're going to take it off of the sand bath. And you're going to add 1 milliliter of glacier acetic acid. Once you add the glacier acetic acid, you're going to use a glass stirring rod and mix the reaction. You're going to mix that very well. And then you're going to put it on an ice water bath for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so after you cool it on the ice bath for 5 to 10 minutes, you're then going to vacuum filter the luminol products again. So once you vacuum filter, you're going to turn off the vacuum and break the vacuum, and then rinse you're going to rinse the crystals with 2 to 3 milliliters of ice cold DI water. And once you've rinsed it with a couple milliliters of ice cold DI water, you are then going to filter through those crystals yet again. Okay, so once you get an accurate weight of your luminol crystals, you're going to put the crystals in a funnel and then dissolve it with 15 milliliters of sodium hydroxide. So you're going to dissolve it with 15 milliliters of sodium hydroxide, and then you're going to rinse the funnel with a couple milliliters of just DI water. Okay, so once you have your diluted luminol solution, you're going to take the luminol solution and an oxidizing solution, and you're going to pour them together at the same time in a darkened room. So I'm going to turn off the light here. You're going to pour them together at the same time. And as you can see, chemiluminescence occurs, and you get that blue glow from the luminol solution.